Hello guys and welcome back to the SimpliCode programming channel. This is Vikesh and let's get started with today's topic, which is about inner classes in Java. So in the previous session we talked about the static nested classes, and in today's session we are going to focus on the non-static nested classes. We also call them simply as inner classes. So whenever you hear the word inner classes, always clarify whether they mean the static nested inner classes or the non-static nested inner classes, because people may use different terminologies. But the official or the standard terminology is whenever somebody says inner classes, it means the normal nested class. And when somebody wants to convey static nested classes, they will use explicitly the word as static nested classes. So when we talk about inner classes, they look a bit similar to the static nested classes, with the difference that you will not see a static keyword when you define the inner class. That's the one type of the simplest inner class you can create. It follows pretty much the same kind of construct where you define the outer class and you define the inner class and you write the logic inside the inner class. So let's understand this with the help of an example, and we will also talk about the other type of inner classes which we have. So with that, I want to switch back to the Eclipse IDE and let me comment this one out, because I will cover this in a while. And let me fix an error here as well. So I will comment this as well. Okay, so let's talk about the demo which I have prepared. It's a very simplistic demo just to understand the concept. And please do practice all of these concepts in detail to get more confident about these. So I start defining a normal class, just naming it as outer class. And then you can create a class within a class. I'm calling it as inner class. You can obviously name it as anything you want, and you can write any logic which you want to write inside your inner class. Here I just have a display method where I have a simple sysout, which is verifying if I can invoke this particular method or not. So if you have this simple kind of construct of outer class or inner class, how do you initialize the inner class? Remember when we talked about the static nested classes, and if you wanted to initialize the static nested class, I had to follow this particular syntax where I said outer class dot inner class on both sides when I try to initialize the object. But if I want to initialize a normal inner class or a non-static nested class, the way to do that is like this. So on the left hand side, you again follow the same kind of construct where you say outer class dot inner class. You write a reference for it, and then you say new outer class. Here you are creating an object of it dot new inner class. So you basically first initialize the outer class, create an object of the outer class, and then that object of the outer class can be used to create an object of the inner class. So this is the difference. If I take you back to the static nested classes initialization, here on the right hand side, it was simply outer class dot inner class and then the parenthesis, because this was a static member. So you access the static members by the class name. That's why class name dot static member. But you access the normal instance members via the instance and not the class name. So you need to create the instance first, and then once you have created that instance, then you can access any member variable of this class. And inner class technically is just a member variable which has been initialized here. So this is how you're going to initialize an inner class. Then you get an object of it, and once you have got the object of the inner class, then you can call the display method, and whatever is written in the display method shall be executed. Let's run this program. Yes, I can see that the display method is getting called and it is printing whatever was written inside the display method. In the display method, I just simply had a sysout which said this is an inner class method, and that's what is getting printed here. That's one type of the inner class, which is looking very simple. Another a bit more complex and special type of inner class is called method local inner class. When I say method local inner class, the name itself explains what it means, that you are trying to create a class inside a method of the outer class. So let me just uncomment this part. So this is a normal method, normal instance method of the outer class, and inside the method, I create a class. You see, inside the method also you can create an inner class. That is also something which is supported by Java. And that's what I'm trying to showcase here. that when I define the outer class method, I write my whatever logic I want to write in my method, and then I can create an inner class, a method local class basically. I've just named it as method local class to just look it more readable. And then you can define anything you want to write inside your method local class. Here I have just defined a simple method called local inner method, and I have just printed a statement inside the local inner method which says in the method local class method. Once I've defined the class, then within the method, I can also initialize the class if I want. You can see I'm creating an object of the method local class within the enclosing method. That is also possible. So I create an object called MLC, and then once I have the object, I can invoke this method by the object, and that is what I'm doing here. So this whole logic can be just embedded inside a particular method, and we call this type of class as method local inner classes. This is also a type of inner class, but this is just to show you that you can also create method local inner classes. So this is what I've done here, and if I invoke this outer class method, what happens? Let's see that. So here I have written the code to simply initialize the outer class. Nothing new here. This is a normal initialization. And once I've done that, once I've got an instance, then I say outer class dot outer class method. I simply call the instance method. And once I call the instance method, everything is written inside the instance method gets executed. So first I should get this statement, then the class will get loaded and compiled, then an instance of the class will be created, and then whatever is written inside the local inner method will be executed. So technically I should see this sysout and ultimately this sysout if I run those two lines. Let me comment the first part so that we can observe the output correctly. And I run this as a Java application and I get these two lines. So I get the in the outer class method statement, which is coming from here. And then this whole code gets executed, and eventually when this method gets called, I get this statement as well, which is in the method local class method. So this is to show you how you can invoke the method local classes. Basically, there's nothing new here. It's just a normal class. You instantiate the normal class and then you call the object. You get an object and you call the method on the object of the method local class. Now there is another type of inner class which is called anonymous inner class, which we haven't covered so far. Anonymous inner classes are not very common, but sometimes you might need to do that. You might need to create anonymous inner classes, but always first understand and discuss with your teammates as to if there is a way to avoid anonymous inner classes, because they are not very readable. But let me cover that as well as part of this curriculum. So if you have to implement anonymous inner classes, let's first understand why do we need to implement anonymous inner classes. And I would like to do that with the help of a demonstration. So I have again created a simple interface of bicycle, and I will create an implementation class called mountain bike. So you see a bicycle interface, and I have two methods which says can speed up and can apply brake. Just simple two interface methods being declared here. Then I create an implementation class called mountain bike, which implements bicycle. And if it implements bicycle, it has to provide the implementation of those two declared methods in the interface. And that's what it does here. And for the sake of simplicity, I'm just printing a sysout here. All good so far. And then if you have to access or create an object of this mountain bike class, the way you do that is simply by just saying bicycle mountain equal to new mountain bike. Remember, I'm using the bicycle reference here, but the object is of mountain bike. So when I call anything on the mountain bike, then that implementation of the mountain bike will be invoked. So I'm just invoking the can apply brake method and can speed up methods. Nothing new here. You have already seen this when we were talking about interfaces session. But what if you want to create an object of the bicycle class itself? You don't want to create a mountain bike class at all. Is there a way to avoid creating mountain bike class and still being able to write this logic? Yes, there is a way, and that is the anonymous inner way. So I can just say bicycle equal to new bicycle. If I say new bicycle, remember I'm not saying new mountain bike because mountain bike does not exist, or I don't want to create mountain bike class. Then you can write this instantiation right for the interface class. But the moment you hit control space, and you will get this option. where it will say, okay, I will get you an object of bicycle interface, but it has to be of anonymous inner type, which is lying in this particular package. So if you just click on this whole code will be generated for you. So you see, the moment you double click on this whole code was generated automatically for you, which is providing everything, technically everything which you wrote in the mountain bike class. So the whole logic which you could write in a child class gets embedded right into the instantiation code itself. And this is your anonymous inner class. You see, it automatically looks a bit ugly. And imagine if you're writing this for a real production code where each of the methods may have a lot of logic and you may have a lot of methods, then it can grow very long and it can look very ugly. That's why I was saying always try to create a child class instead. It can be a simple use case, but try to create a child class or try to avoid writing anonymous inner classes if you can. If there is no way out, then this is the way you do it. There's also a bit nicer way to do this using Lambda function for functional interfaces, but that is also something which will not improve the readability a lot, though it will make the code look smaller. So here you can write the exact logic which you want to write in can speed up and can apply break. Basically, whatever you wrote in those two methods in the mountain bike class can very well be written here, and the code will still be executed. So let's just do that quickly. So I will just go here and copy the sysout from speedup method. I'll just put it here, and I will copy the can apply break method, and I will put it here, and I will comment the mountain bike code. So I've created the object of bicycle class here, and now if I say bicycle dot can apply break, and I can say bicycle dot can speed up. So now I can access these two methods, and the implementation will be invoked from this anonymous inner class implementation. So if I run this, I will get pretty much the same output. Yes, you can see I get exactly the same output. It's currently printing both of these sysouts as the same because I did not change the sysout here. And yeah, I have written the exactly same text in both of the cases. So if I just change this text to say can apply break, and I do the same thing here, I say can apply break, and if I run this, so you get the same output. And if you comment this back, and if you use the above code, you also get the same output. Yep. So that's the basic construct of anonymous inner classes, that you can use the interface instantiation. If you do not want to create a child class of it, just instantiate the interface, and Java will automatically generate the concrete override implementation for all the methods which are declared in your interface. And then you can provide the implementation of those methods inline. And that's all I want to cover for this particular session. So we covered a whole lot. We covered about the normal inner classes, we covered the method local inner classes, and we covered the anonymous inner classes. In the next session, we'll talk about the Java packages. And if you like this video, a thumbs up would be massively appreciated. And please don't forget to subscribe to SimpliCode for more programming related videos. Thank you, and we'll meet again in the next session.